All right. G'day, Sheilas and blokes from the toy community all around the world. It is me, Matty Boom Batty from Smash Tokyo Toys, coming at you with the second in my crap toy videos. Once again, I'm not talking to you about crap toys, I'm just making some crap videos. So we're in Australia. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I've just got home from work. I'm a bit tired, but I just like to talk about a few things that me and my mate Elaine were talking about the other day in his toy store. Um, I was telling him that I get a lot of people at parties who want to talk to me about making toys, like people who are really passionate about making their own toy. They've got to make their own toy, or they're like toy nerds whose wife have sent them over to talk to me because they think their husband or their wife want to make a toy. And usually I'm like hard eye rolling, having a migraine because I know there's no way that's going to happen. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that freaking toy nerd who's just absolutely has no way they're going to make a toy because they say terrible things to you and you just go, fuck off, right? So I'm going to give you some anecdotes about some of those parties I've been at, and I'm sure you'll be like, yep, I know that person. And some of you will get really angry and be like, "Fuck you, Matt," and I'll be like, "Fuck you," because this happens to people all the time. And when I say toy nerds, I'm sure in the new millennium, a lot of you will be nodding sagely along with me, because there's a difference between toy geeks, most of us, and toy nerds, which is kind of what the new millennium is full of. Nerds are like the sniveling, pedantic dipshits who suck the joy out of everything they claim to love, which is what we find on all of our forums these days. They're like the guys or the girls who, rush out to Walmart and they buy a bunch of toys and then they post how much they hate them on the internet. And I'm like, why did you spend all that money on something you hate? Hate that. Can't stand it. Don't understand how that's a thing these days. Anyway, so um, let's get on to it. So I'll go to a party and a lady will come over to me and she'll go, "Oh, hey Matt, my husband, he's like right into Masters of the Universe and he really wants to make a toy of his own and he's been talking about this since he was in grade one and can he come over and talk to you?" And I'll be like, "Sure, I'd love that. I'd love to talk to someone at this party about toys." Nope, I really don't want to do that. But anyway, I do because I knew I look at this guy and I'm like, oh my God, yep, I know exactly what this guy's going to say. So we start talking, and he's like, "Hey, I really want to do a toy, want to do it in China." And I straight away go, "What sort of toy do you want to do?" And he goes, "Oh, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Do you want to do an action figure? Do you want to do a soft vinyl toy? Do you want to do a soft toy? What sort of toy do you want to do?" And so we get into it, and he's talking about all these things, and I'm asking him, what size do you want to do? What sort of parts? How many parts do you want to do? What sort of production run do you want to do? And he's like, gee, this is pretty serious, this stuff. And I was like, yes, it's pretty serious. I'm like, how much money do you want to put into this project? And we don't get very far into it when he says to me, "Well, my friend Ginny, she's a cosplayer." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, great. That's good for Ginny." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna, I'll probably be talking to her about this because she's a pretty serious cosplayer. She has 1 million views." And I went, "Oh, okay. Does she do textiles at factory or something?" And he goes, "No, but she's a very attractive cosplayer." And I immediately, that's it, boom, I've shut him down because he thinks that his very attractive big booby cosplayer friend is going to help him make a toy at factory somewhere and not the guy who's made 12 toys at factory. Straight away, he's not serious. But he's interested in cheating on his wife. That's how much I know because he wants to go hang out with Ginny the cosplayer. And I'm like, "Okay, man, that's cool. I'm going to go get a drink." And then boom, I'm gone. I don't come back. That's a person who's not serious because they want to go talk to someone who has nothing to do with the toy industry. Okay, I don't have any problems with cosplayers. You're amazing, but that guy is not serious. So we go to another party, or we go to my friend Elaine's shop, whatever it is. Anyone who comes in and they say something ridiculous, they're not serious. So here's another anecdote. Similar person, we're right into it, talking about things that are deadly serious. Let's talk about marketing. Let's talk about, how are you going to sell this toy? Who's your audience? I'm talking about parts, things that are deadly serious. And the guy leans in and he goes, you know what? I'm just going to go talk to my friend Jeremy. Oh, cool. Is Jeremy a toy designer? No, well, Jeremy makes these kick-ass resin figures in his garage. Oh, cool. So does Jeremy and the resin guy, does he have stuff at factory? Well, no, but he puts Darth Vader heads on G.I. Joe bodies. He makes like 30 a week. And I'm like, holy shit, man. So Jeremy's down here. That's where we all start. We all start making resin figures, sticking like GI Joe heads on Star Wars bodies, Star Wars heads on GI Joe bodies. Everyone starts there, and you work your way up. So again, he's saying to the guy who's made lots of toys at factory, travels around the world, goes to toy factories, blah blah. He's saying to him, "Fuck you! I'm going to go to this other guy who's a resin guy, who's never made anything." And I'm just like, okay, that's fine, but you and I are not talking anymore. Goodbye. So I'm sure there are people watching this right now going, oh, I know exactly where you're at, man. Time wasters. You're wasting our time. It's time wasting, man. And okay, it's fine. You can do that. But please, it fucking pisses people off. And it's funny, guys, because like in the toy industry, I reckon I'm about here. And most of the people that I try to connect with, they're up here. So if I'm talking to someone like Jeff Lamb or Mark Nagata, these guys are up here and they don't want to talk to me. They don't want anything to do with me. They're like, why are you talking to me? Why are you wasting my time? That's so like I'm down here, but I've still financed all my toys myself. Everything I've done, I do on my own. Nobody fucking helps me. They don't want to help me. They don't want to know me. So everything I do on my own. So that's where we're at. So I'm talking to my friend in his toy store and we're getting into it. He's like, well, obviously a lot of people talk to you about how to make toys. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of fucking dicks ask me how to make toys. And he's like, well, what about the serious people? What do you tell them? How do you make toys? I'm like, okay, so there are, 3 or 4 or 5 ways that you can go about making toys. And I said, they're all common sense. And when I tell people, they're always like, that seems like common sense, man. And I'm like, doy, they are. They're common sense, man. So we generally sit around, have a cold one, because we're bloody Australians and we bloody drink beers, among other things. And I said, all right, let's get into it, all right? And he's like, no worries, let's talk about toys. And I went, okay, the first thing you have to do is be Oprah bloody rich. That's number one. Be Oprah rich. And we had a bit of a laugh. And I was like, seriously, I know maybe 10 guys, and you know at least 1 or 2 guys right now who are in your Facebook feed or in your Instagram who are bloody Oprah rich. And he was like, really? And I said, okay, think of a guy who makes toys of himself that don't sell, probably has toys of himself flipping the bird, and makes toys of or toys or apparel and everything that says fuck you or up yours or something. And he was like, okay, yeah, I've got someone in mind. And I went, and people all around the world send them toys, even though they're millionaires and they can buy their own toys. And he was like, oh, yep. I can think of a number of guys like that. And I went, he was like, shit. And I was like, yeah. So there are people out there who are so rich, they can just make whatever they like, regardless of whether or not it sells. Doesn't have to sell because they're millionaires. So if you're Oprah rich, you can make whatever toys you like. Doesn't matter if it sells. And he was like, whoa. I said, now, the other way that you can tell that they're Oprah rich, it's not just that people send them toys they don't need because they can buy them themselves. Even though the people are never going to do anything for you. Shit, I could send them this, which cost me a shit ton of money, and that person's still never going to talk to me. So why do you send them stuff? Why send them stuff for free? It doesn't get you anything. because they can buy whatever they like. But apart from that, apart from the fact they can make whatever they want, regardless of whether you buy it, these guys are always have a super god complex. They never get cancelled. They just do whatever the fuck they want. So be Oprah rich. Hell, I have a friend who's a millionaire, and he got sick of collecting cars, and he said to me, "Shit, Matt, I don't know what to do." And I went, "Why don't you make toys?" And he was like, "Cool." He was right into it, but he ended up going to live in Europe. Never heard from him again. But this is what people do. If you know a millionaire right now who's super bored, go suggest that to him. Why don't we make toys together? They'll friggin' do whatever you like. So 1, be Oprah rich. Make toys. Oh, and that guy, don't get me wrong, man. You and I, we're legit. I love everything you do. Keep making fucking toys. Love you. Don't get cancelled. 2, the other thing you can do to make toys is collaborate. Now, I don't know what it is. Australian guys, they can't fucking collaborate. I could sit 12 guys in this room right now, put 100 grand in the middle of the table and go, here is the money. Let's make a wicked sick toy. They won't. Trust me, I've tried it. 10 years ago, I had 3 groups of 10 guys come in, said, here's the money. We can make whatever you want. They just fought for hours and hours and hours and just called each other names, slagged each other off. Boom, no toy was made. They just fight. They fight and fight and fight and fight like Itchy and Scratchy. Never happens. Crazy fucking shit. Australian toy guys, apart from Ashley Wood and the guys who run Moose, are absolute dickheads. Fuck, there's a guy right here in Brisbane. He tells everyone he's got a bloody Japanese toy. He's got a Chinese toy. He's been lying about it for years. He's a total fucking dick. There's another guy in Adelaide, runs around telling everyone he's the only Australian toy designer there is. And I'm like, people literally go to his talks and go, hey, what about Matt Walls? He's got 12 toys. And the guy's like, oh, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, dude, you know who I am. Australian toy guys, I don't know what your problem is. Collaborate. We could have the best fucking toy for like the last 10 years, but you won't. You need to collaborate. Shit. Anyway, collaboration. Who remembers when third-party Transformers first started? They came out, there was like, I think it was called Night Armor or something. It was a train that turned into Optimus Prime. When that first started, it was because Takara Tomy and Hasbro announced that they didn't give a shit what you made. You could make any character you liked as long as it didn't have a faction symbol. Well, that changed the whole world, because in the last 15 years, people have gone completely batshit crazy. Third-party guys are making whatever they want. But what people don't realise is that these third-party guys, they're all collaborating. They're like 10 guys will get together and go, why don't we just put in $1,000 each, go to China and make this toy on sprues, which is cheap as shit. So they're only putting in $1,000 US each. And they're getting these amazing, amazing third-party toys. Well, guess what? Way back when that announcement was made, I was talking to a guy at Takara in Taiwan. And he said to me, hey, Matt, have you ever seen this? And he opened up the G.I. Joe Transformers collab comic. The very first one, I think it was IDW. And he flips through and he holds it up. And there in the back, there is a turnaround of Rumble and Frenzy as grenades. And he leaned forward and he goes, you know, no one's looking at this. And he said, and you could actually make this. And he said, no one's done it. Well, it's been 15 years and no one has still done it. There is no third-party toy of Rumble and Frenzy as grenades. And he said at the time, he said, you could make this on one sprue. So you could make that whole toy that transforms into a grenade on one sprue and just do it in the 2 different colors. No one's ever done that. So I'm telling you, here I am online now. If you're a third-party toy company, you could do that. And I said to him at the time, but what about the G.I. Joe license? He just shook his head and went, you could do this and get away with it. Collaboration. Someone needs to collaborate and make that toy that a guy who worked in Takara Tomy said, it's right there on the page. So, yeah, collaboration. People just don't do it enough. All right, what's the third way to make a toy? Now, I don't know if this works anywhere else in the world, but my Iron Man toy line cost a lot of money. Well, I just walked into a bank here in Australia and I said, I need a $40,000 loan. And they went, sure, we can do that for you. And I went, really? Yep. What they said to me was, what we're going to do is stick this $40,000 loan under white goods. So if you go into the bank, and I'm pretty sure you can do this in Asia, if you go into the bank and say, all right, I need to buy a television, a fridge, freezer, microwave, whatever it is that adds up to $40,000, they'll just go, oh, let me just check your finances. Oh yeah, you're a teacher. We can do this. Yep, no worries. You just need to pay off $500 every 2 weeks. And I was like, yeah, done, easy. That's how I paid off my second toy line. It was easy. So I don't know how that works all around the world, but you can just go into the bank and get a bank loan. Boom, done, easy. Flat out, fair dinkum. So yeah, so that's what, 3 ways to do it. I guess a lot of us aren't really Oprah rich, but those are 3 very easy ways to go out and make a toy. Now, the other one we were talking about, and they were like, well, I guess it helps if you know someone who can help you make a toy. And I was like, oh yeah, that's not always good. And they were like, well, because by now there was Elaine, another guy in the store, and Elaine was busy serving customers. And I said to this guy, I said, do you know how many parties I go to and people come up to me and they're like, oh man, I've got this great idea for a toy. I really want to make a toy. Can I get some advice from you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, you can get some advice from me. And they go, oh yeah, look, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I say, all right, I can, let's talk about this. And we start talking about marketing, and we start talking about what size the toy is. What do you want to make it out of? What materials are we going to make it out of? How many parts, do you want to do it in Japan? Do you want to do it in China? And I start really getting into it. And then the guy or the girl says, yeah, I don't know. My friend Ginny, she's a cosplayer. I think I'll just talk to her. And I go, what the fuck? Ginny, does she like do textiles in China or something? Does she, what, I don't understand, cosplayer? And they go, well, she's really hot and I just want to hang out with her a lot, and I'm just going to ask her. And I'm like, but I'm an actual toy maker. I have 12 toys that sell, they're made in a factory. Why would you go to a cosplayer? Cosplay has nothing to do with toy manufacturing. And they're like, yeah, but she's really fucking hot, man. She's got big tits. I can't wait. And I'm like, okay, but your wife sent you over here to talk to me about toy production. Your wife, man. Yeah, it's cool, man. I'll go ask Ginny, the cosplayer. All right, now don't get me wrong. I love cosplayers. I know some amazing cosplayers, but this Ginny is not getting anything done at factory. You just really fucking insulted me. That's weird. Don't do that. That sucks. Don't do that to people. Also, another one. Here's another example. Same sort of party. Someone says to me, oh, dude, it's been great talking to you and all, but I'm going to go talk to my friend Robbo. Yeah, Robbo. He makes resin toys. He makes resin toys. Oh, really cool. Does he do them overseas? Does he get resin toys made at factory? Oh no, man. He puts Darth Vader heads on he puts Darth Vader heads on G.I. Joe figures. Yeah, man. I must have sold 30 a couple of months back. And I'm like, holy shit, man. I was like, dude, resin guys, they start down, everyone. We all do. We've all done resin toys. We start down here. But if you're not the fucking New York sucklord, don't say that to a guy who's working at doing toys in factory. Because all of us, we all started putting Star Wars figures on G.I. Joe heads. All right, that's down here. We're up here. So don't come to me and make me talk for 2 hours on how you can make a toy and then turn around and say you're going to go talk to Robbo, the G.I. Joe on Star Wars heads resin guy. That's fucking bad. Pisses me off. Especially shit. I did stuff with Super Sucklord 15 years ago. That's Super Sucklord is up here resin level. If you're still in the backyard doing Star Wars figures on top of fucking G.I. Joe heads, we're not on the same page, man. Don't go to Robbo. Robbo is not going to help you get into the factory. He's not going to get you a middleman in Japan. He's not going to help you out, man. You're going to be stuck at Robbo's level for years. Fuck. So, that is a number of ways that you can get started making your own toy. If you need help, come to me. I will tell you everything about marketing. I will tell you everything about getting a worldwide distributor. I'll tell you what you need to know about sizing, getting things on sprues. A lot of people, the one thing I don't know anything about, guys, is making action figures. Like getting an action figure made in China, no idea. Everything else, very good at. So, yeah.